I'm going to Mom's condo. If you don't want a divorce, come and apologize." With those words, Andrew left the divorce papers on the table and headed for the entrance. He closed the door without looking back. At that moment, I felt something tense inside me snap. "If that's what you want, I'll grant your wish." My name is Sarah. I'm just an ordinary housewife. My husband, Andrew, my father-in-law, Charles, my mother-in-law, Donna, and brother-in-law, Freddie. We used to live in a relatively large house, all 5 of us. Andrew works for a fairly large company as a sales manager. Charles was an executive at a top-tier company and is respected locally as a person of great character. Donna, on the other hand, is a housewife who doesn't do anything, relying on a housekeeper, even though Charles earns a substantial income. Freddie, too, has had his share of troubles, frequently changing jobs and causing Charles distress. This I only learned after moving in with them following our marriage. But Andrew was always kind and considerate toward me, and Charles treated me like his own daughter. He may have seemed like a typical stern father, but he was actually very gentle. "If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask," he would always say, looking out for me. Donna always seemed displeased by this. 2 years after we got married, Charles fell ill. From that point, Donna completely stopped caring for him. Instead, I took it upon myself to care for him. But his condition didn't improve, and eventually, he became bedridden. Not even his own family, including Andrew, would care for him, claiming they were too busy with work. I didn't mind and continued to care for Charles. "I'm sorry, Sarah, for showing you this side of me," he said. "Don't say that, Charles. Please get well soon," I replied. "You're a kind person. Andrew is lucky to have married you," he said. A few days after these words, Charles' condition worsened and he passed away. The funeral was a hurried affair. In the days following, I cried until I was dehydrated. Until now, Charles's presence had helped me endure the harassment from Donna and the others. But after his death, Andrew suddenly changed. Or rather, his true nature came out, perhaps previously suppressed by Charles's presence. One day, "Welcome home." "What's this?" "It's spaghetti. What else?" "Spaghetti? That's it? After I come home tired, this is what I get? Can a housewife who's at home all day make something more elaborate?" "I made it from scratch with all my effort. Isn't it a harsh way to speak?" "I'm not in the mood for spaghetti today. I'll go eat out." "Hey, wait a minute." Before, "Everything you cook is delicious," Andrew had said. But ever since Charles passed away, his attitude turned cold. Lately, he started nitpicking and complaining about trivial things. He lashes out whenever something displeases him, saying things like, "It's because I work that you can live comfortably?" Perhaps because he was raised strictly as a child, he's now taking out his frustrations. Moreover, he believes that a woman's place is quietly at home, doing housework. But me? Yes, sure. I'm not one to stay silent. I've been earning through a side job without Andrew finding out. Honestly, it's necessary to keep our finances afloat. "It's hot, Freddie. Get a drink from the fridge for me." "All right, I'll grab one for myself too." "Donna and Freddie, please let me know when you're coming. I've told you this many times, haven't I?" "What are you talking about? This is our house. Why should we inform a parasite like you?" "That's right. Living here for free and still complaining?" No. Calling me a parasite? I've just continued living here. It was Donna and Freddie who left after Charles died, complaining about the house being too big and hard to manage and the inconvenience of the location. They have squandered Charles's inheritance and now live in a nearby condo, often visiting just to harass me. You should always be ready for us whenever we come. Don't complain so much. I want sweets now. Sarah, go buy some cake. I want that new coffee from my favorite cafe. They come over whenever they are free, imposing unreasonable demands. Asking about money is futile, so I don't bother. Looking back, Charles was the only one who ever stood up for me in the house. Donna, overly fond of her son, and Freddie, who's brainwashed. Andrew, who was intimidated by Charles. Charles, I never understood why such a genuinely good person stayed with these people. Maybe Freddie rebelled too much against Charles's strictness. He still doesn't have a steady job, but Donna doesn't seem to care. Tired from dealing with them, I bought what they asked for and returned home. Here you go. I bought what you wanted. Typical, Sarah. No good at all. I'm not in the mood for a cake anymore. I want ice cream now. You should have guessed and bought that. Well, how am I supposed to know if you don't tell me? While this was happening, Andrew came home. It was already night. I am home. Oh, Mom's here. Welcome back, Andrew. Hey, Andrew. No sooner had I returned than I have to say this, Andrew. This woman has been at home all day and hasn't done any housework. Yeah, I saw it too. She did nothing all day. Wait a minute, Donna. Listen, Andrew. They suddenly came over and asked for all sorts of things. I have no time for housework. Andrew snapped back, clearly annoyed. Shut up. Don't make excuses. It's shameful. I always tell you, housework is your job. Do it no matter what you're told. You're so useless. Always making excuses. Sorry about her. Let's go out for a treat. How about barbecue? Then he took money from my wallet in the dresser. Wait, that's my... Make sure you finish the housework you didn't do before I get back. Let's go. With that, the three of them left. I sat down and cried. It wasn't just the frustration of having no one on my side. What really hurt was having the money I earned myself taken and used without my consent. Holding back tears, I silently did the laundry and cleaning. Late that night, Andrew returned, in a good mood from drinking. You did the cleaning and laundry, right? As a housewife, living off my earnings, you should keep the housework perfect. I had no energy to argue, so I just kept quiet. Then, apparently still not satisfied with his drinking, he took a beer from the fridge and shook it before opening it. Naturally, the foam burst out. What the hell is this? It's all over me. What do you mean? You're the one who shook the beer can. Just shut up. I'm going to bed. Saying this, he threw the half-open beer and went to the bedroom. I had to clean up again even though I had just cleaned. I teared up thinking, if only Charles were still alive. On a day that followed, Andrew came home smiling for a change and started a rare conversation. It seems there had been some work reforms at his busy job, and he managed to get some extended paid leave. I thought we might go on a trip. I've taken some long vacation. Maybe there was still some kindness left in him. That thought made me feel like maybe his feelings towards me were returning a bit. That sounds wonderful. I can't remember the last time we went on a trip. I'm looking forward to it. Good to do some family service sometimes. Find us a nice place to stay, will you? I was delighted and picked out a few slightly upscale hotels. 3 days later, I excitedly suggested the travel destinations to Andrew. What he said next was unbelievable and enough to crush me. Thanks for the effort, though. This look nice. Mom and the others will love it. Are you taking Donna and the others too? What are you talking about? Why do you think you're going? Andrew intended to go on the trip with my in-laws, not with me. Why did you make me search for destinations if it didn't concern me? That's your role, to be useful to me, he said. Shocked but not satisfied, I argued. Why can't I go? Am I not your family? I was really looking forward to the trip, so I persisted. Don't complain. You live off my earnings. When Mom and the others come, you don't do housework or entertain them. That's because Donna and the others keep giving me tasks. It was the first intense argument since our marriage. After arguing for a while, Andrew seemed fed up. You're so annoying and persistent. He then produced divorce papers. He went to the bedroom, rustled around, then emerged with his luggage. I'm going to Mom's condo. If you don't want a divorce, come and apologize. He left the divorce papers and headed for the entrance, not looking back. At that moment, I felt something snap inside me. If that's what you want, I'll grant your wish. I reached my limit with his unreasonable behavior and decided to take action while they were on their trip. The day of the trip came, but naturally, no one contacted me. They would probably enjoy their trip, laughing and bad-mouthing me. The trip was planned for a week. That was enough time for me. The week passed quickly. Andrew and his family were supposed to return today. Andrew called. Hello, Sarah. We took it over here. I reluctantly decided to forgive you for not coming to apologize. Be thankful. What do you mean? I couldn't make any sense of it. So what I'm saying is, normally I would divorce you for not coming to apologize, but I've decided to forgive you. Mom and others have agreed we should live as a family again. We're going to sell this house and buy a bigger condo with the money. You can stay there too. Make sure you do your housework properly this time. I've already arranged for the sale, so start preparing for the move. Andrew had always made decisions on his own, disregarding my will. This time was no different, making such a big decision without consulting me, who lived in the house. And now he was talking about selling the house where I lived with Charles. I couldn't forgive Andrew and his family for this. I would not comply this time. I started speaking in an unusually low tone. Andrew, that's too bad. About the house? I've already sold it, as you said, and the divorce is already finalized. There was a moment of silence, followed by Andrew's off-tune, almost laughable voice. What do you mean? What I mean? Literally, that's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Goodbye. But I still need to understand. I cut off the call since there was nothing more to say. I was standing in front of the now empty lot where the house had been. Taking a deep breath, I said, Charles, thank you for everything. I bowed and left the spot. The three who arrived at their family home were stunned to see it turned into an empty lot. What is this? What's going on? Where will we live? We've canceled the condo. Andrew, what's happening? I don't know. I thought we'd live here until we moved. That stupid wife of mine, doing things on her own. If she sold the land and the house, I'll get the money back. They seemed panicked. Andrew was frantically contacting various people. Then a call came in from an unknown number. Yes, what is it? I'm busy. Hello, is this Andrew? I'm a lawyer hired by Sarah. A lawyer? I wanted to discuss a matter regarding compensation. All right, I understand. Andrew, a lawyer? Mom, it's okay. Leave it to me. I won't let her get away with this. Right, it will be fine. We later met at the lawyer's office. Sarah, what have you done? How could you sell Dad's house on your own? That's right. Do you realize what you've done? It's a crime. Even if we get compensation, we won't forgive you. That's right. Next time, we'll make sure you have tasks to do at home. Hey, say something. Everyone was ranting, so the lawyer intervened. Please calm down. I'll explain everything. I was hired by Sarah to request compensation from you. For some reason, all three of them looked surprised. It seemed they had assumed they would be the ones receiving compensation. How could they possibly think that? What do you mean? Why should we pay compensation? Do you have no idea why? Of course not. She was living off my earnings. What could she possibly complain about? The compensation claim is for the terrible treatment you've subjected Sarah to over the years. We are requesting a total of $200,000 from the three of you. What? $200,000? Are you crazy? She's the one who sold our house without permission. We should be the ones suing her. And $200,000 is impossible. That woman committed a crime by selling the house Charles bought. You still don't understand, Sarah. Please explain. Yes, the house and the land were all in my name, so I was able to sell them without any legal issues. What? That can't be true. It was Charles's wish. This was back when Charles was still alive and had become bedridden. Could you wipe my body? I'm sorry to ask, Charles requested. Donna's response was cold. No, I don't want to. Being around you might make me sick. I'm going to lunch. This was how Charles was increasingly mistreated day by day. His assets built over a lifetime were being squandered. Charles, I'll do it. Sarah, I'm truly sorry. It must be hard for you, surrounded by such people. Can you get the file from my drawer? This one? Yes, if you ever in trouble, go to this person. He will help you. It was a business card with a lawyer's name. I remembered the card when I started preparing for divorce and decided to visit the lawyer. I told him everything about my situation and Charles's introduction. The lawyer mentioned that if I ever came to him, he was told to help me. Charles was an old friend who had apparently been asked by Charles in the past to help if anything ever happened concerning his son and daughter-in-law. He was troubled that Sarah, who had come into the family, was suffering because of his own family. He said that since I had come to him, it must mean I was in trouble and that Charles wanted me to sell the property and leave freely. Hearing this, I cried again. The lawyer reassured me. It's going to be okay now. You have me and your father-in-law's support. These words made me determined to take action. Every terrible thing you've done to Sarah is all recorded. We are prepared to go to court. You're welcome to hire a lawyer, but considering the substantial evidence we have, I'm not sure if anyone will take your case. Still, they grumbled in denial. But how can you live on your own, having been just a housewife all this time? You really didn't care about me, did you? You never noticed that I had a side job? A side job? Like some part-time gig, right? What are you talking about? I already earn more than you do. Really? I may not show my face, but I'm a popular writer. I've been juggling essays and novels for magazines, and I'm about to publish a book soon. I've even fictionized our experiences in my novels. You're writing about us without permission? I'll sue you. I told you, it's fiction. It's not stated as a true story. Then they suddenly changed their tune and tried to cozy up to me. All right, we understand we might have been wrong. We've all said what we wanted to say. Let's forget all this and come back. Let's live together again. What are you talking about? We? The only wrongdoers here are you. You don't understand anything. I knew it, but it's still disappointing. Attorney, are we done here? I don't want to be with these people. Yes, we will proceed with the compensation claim. They desperately looked for a lawyer, but no one would take their case, despite the refusal to pay. It ended in forced execution and they lost all their assets. Afterward, they became the subject of whispers in the neighborhood. "That's them, right? So awful." Clearly, the neighbors were gossiping about Donna and her family. Soon the rumors reached Andrew's company. There were rumors that the content of my novel might be about Andrew and his family. Andrew was asked about it by a close colleague. "Is this novel about you?" his colleague asked. "No way, that can't be me." A month later, I heard Andrew resign from his job. Now, they live a quiet life, avoiding public attention. I'm enjoying my freedom, all thanks to Charles. He had been troubled by his family's behavior. He admitted he was strict, but he was pained that his son's wife, me, suffered because of them, not wanting his hard-earned wealth squandered. He had transferred the house and land to my name in advance. I learned this when I visited a lawyer, an old friend of Charles. I didn't care for Charles for his money, but what he did for me turned out to be a great help. It made me realize that family isn't just about blood ties. I live my life never forgetting to be grateful.
I have been living with just my mother ever since my older brother got married. There were times when I was furious with my mother's attitude, but I also owed her for raising me to this point, and I couldn't just disregard her. Yet, I never imagined that she would push me away in such a manner. My mother kicked me out of the house after all the support I've given her. And the brother and his wife, who orchestrated this situation. I will never forgive them. I will definitely get my revenge and repay them double. My name is Mary, I'm 25 years old. I lost my father a few years ago, and my brother John, who is 10 years older, has since married and left home, so now it's just my mother and me living together. To be honest, living with my mother is nothing but agony. As soon as I became a working adult, my mother quit the part-time job she had until then and started slacking off at home. Then, she began to treat me, her daughter, like a housemaid. "Hey Mary, isn't dinner ready yet?" "Hey, I'm out of money for this month, too. Give me an extra $200, okay? I'm going out today, so clean my room while I'm gone," and so on. There are endless things if I start to remember. Some might think that if I hate my home so much, I should just leave. I've thought about it many times myself. Yet, she is my biological mother, and after my father passed away, she raised me single-handedly, that's the truth. My brother and his wife live far away, and his wife utterly refuses to live with us, so they're not an option to rely on. Considering all that, the option for me, her daughter, to abandon my mother just never seemed to arise. But even I am human. There's only so much I can tolerate, even from my biological mother, and there's a limit to that, too. Today, again, I found myself raising my voice at my mother. "Mom, did you take money from my wallet again? Take it? What an awful thing to say. I just borrowed it a little. There was a dress I wanted. Borrowed. You've never returned anything, have you? Please stop this. You're being noisy. How do you think you've lived up to now? Because of me, right? Yes, of course, thanks to you, but... Right? So this is just paying me back, right? You're a working adult, so it's natural to take care of your parents. Don't make such a fuss over a mere few $100s. It's always like this. Whenever I complain to my mother, she silences me by saying, "Who do you think raised you? Who do you think you have to thank for your life up to now?" Knowing all the hardships she went through, I can't talk back to her forcefully. To be honest, I earn more than enough money, and I'm not struggling financially. Even after giving my mother $2,000 every month, I still had no trouble with my living expenses. However, I've always felt that I couldn't let my mother do whatever she wanted. Then one day, when I came home from work, for some reason, my brother and his wife were at our apartment. The last time I saw my brother and his wife was at my father's funeral, and since then, we haven't seen each other or even been in contact. Hey Mary, long time no see. Still looking as unfortunate as ever. My brother's lack of delicacy seems to be as strong as ever. He has always belittled me and looked down on me. John. What are you doing here? What do you mean why? Does a firstborn need a reason to come back to his family's home? Family's home? You know we sold our actual family home when Dad passed away. This apartment is under my contract, you know? Don't be so stingy, haha. It's been a while since the whole family got together. Patty, my brother's wife, who had been listening to our conversation, chimed in. Mary, you're as harsh as ever. With that attitude, you'll never get married. That's Patty for you, saying such things without batting an eyelid. Just like my brother, she seems to be someone entirely devoid of delicacy. I've always had a hard time dealing with these two, so I finished dinner alone and went back to my room. My mother seemed delighted with my brother's rare visit, smiling and enjoying the conversation throughout. Occasionally, the three of them seemed to be having a good time talking about me. Ever since that day, for some reason, my brother and his wife started visiting our place more frequently. Not just that. They began to act as if my apartment was their home. Hold on, John. What's this about? This is my house. And by the way, shouldn't you be at work? Will you shut it? What's it to you? I'm just worried about Mom and come to check on her regularly. You haven't bothered to contact us once since Dad died. That's none of your business, is it? Anyway, I'm starving. Make me something to eat, fast. What's with this guy? This is my house, right? Why is he acting like he owns the place? Mary, I want to eat some delicious cake. Go buy some for me. With my sister-in-law's request, my mother joined in. Come on, Mary. You're off work today, right? Since you're free anyway, just go buy it already. You slowpoke. Up until now, Patty had always detested my mother, vehemently refusing to live with us, but recently, she's been getting along with her as if she were a changed person. And as for my brother, he's been scattering around an attitude that seems to say, it's only natural for the eldest son and my wife to worry about our mother. They're definitely plotting something. While I'm not sure what they're up to, it's certainly nothing good. A few days later, their scheme became clear. Mary, I've reached my limit living with you, so I'm going to end it. What? While I was doing housework on my day off, my mother suddenly dropped the bomb. What do you mean by end it? Just what I said. I'm sick of living with a dawdler and a good-for-nothing child like you who isn't even cute. What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, that's the deal. I'm going to live with John and Patty. With John and her? I couldn't help but ask again. Those two, who had always refused to live with my mother, are now going to live with her all of a sudden? What kind of turn of events is this? Just then, my brother and his wife arrived. John, what's going on? You never contacted us, and you were adamant about not living with Mom, right? So what if I did? It's only natural for the eldest son to take care of his mother, isn't it? Looking down at me, my brother spoke with a triumphant expression. You're not going to have any problems living without Mom, are you? It's not about that, but then there shouldn't be any problem with us living with her, right? Are you serious? Even Patty was so against living together. Why has this suddenly come up? You're persistent. Anyway, Mom's going to live with us now. You're no longer needed. Just a nuisance. A nuisance? After you've been thrusting Mom on me all this time? I was sickened by my brother's self-serving remarks. It was clear that he and his wife were up to no good. While my mother has always been a difficult person, she's still my mother, and I care for her to some extent. I didn't want any trouble later on. I decided to warn my mother. Hey, Mom. You realize something's off, right? John and Patty, they haven't contacted us until now. Huh? What are you talking about? The odd one out is you. What, Mom? A parasite and a good-for-nothing should just get out. In that moment, any lingering family affection I had for my mother vanished in an instant. Despite all the support and help I've provided for our mother, she says such things so calmly. To think she can say such things to a daughter who has supported her own life. But they can only make fun of me for so much longer, right? They should enjoy themselves as much as they can before they face hell in a week. I've started planning the ultimate revenge on them. Understood, I'll leave right away. I told them that firmly. As soon as I did, my mother, my brother, and his wife began to converse with smirks on their faces. Good for you, Mom. Mary is finally moving out. I'm truly delighted. Now I get to live with John and Patty. I'm in the best mood. From now on, I'll take care of Mom for the rest of my life. Oh, John. Thank you. Mother, I'm so happy to live with you. Oh, Patty, you sweet thing. The three of them carried on with their superficial conversation. Honestly, it was hard to keep from laughing. But I must not let them sense my composure. To carry out perfect revenge, I have to play it cool for now. From that day, my brother and his wife started to frequent my house. They treated me as if I were heir from the start and never existed. It actually worked out better for me that they didn't speak to me while I was preparing to move. And then, a week later, the moving day arrived. The first thing my brother said, Mary, it's goodbye today, huh? From now on, we'll take care of Mom, so you can leave without worrying, haha. Thank you. Please take good care of Mom, okay? I replied nonchalantly, which seemed to dissatisfy my brother. Then my mother came over. Mary, it would be nice if you could get married soon, wouldn't it? Being alone forever, you'd be a loser in life, wouldn't you? At her words, my brother and his wife chuckled. I responded to my mother calmly. That's true, from now on I'll live for myself since I won't have to take care of Mom anymore, right? I don't remember ever being taken care of by you. Stop your yapping and just leave. I'm leaving even without you saying so. Oh, looks like they've arrived. The intercom rang, so I opened the door. It was the moving company I had hired. After having them move out all my belongings from my room, I pointed to the living room and instructed the movers. Oh, and please take all the home appliances and furniture in this house, too. But the three of them, mother and the brothers couple, perfectly matched their foolish voices. Their expressions are utterly incomprehensible. The TV, the washing machine, the fridge. Oh, and this cordless vacuum cleaner, too. Also, please take the sofa, the desk, and the bed, everything. Then, my mother came at me with a furious stance. Hey, Mary. What on earth are you thinking? What? Did I do something strange? Don't play dumb. Taking all the home appliances and furniture from this house, are you out of your mind? Then my brother, turning his face red as he was boiled with anger, came at me. Mom's right. How are we supposed to live without any furniture or appliances? Why are you trying to take everything? Leave it all here. My mother and brother ranted and raved in front of me. I realized that it was a waste of time to argue further. I informed them both. You know, are you perhaps misunderstanding something? This house and all of its furnishings, every single item belongs to me, you know? Don't be ridiculous. This is Mom's house, isn't it? And the furniture and appliances were bought with the inheritance from Dad. Honestly, this guy is just an idiot. As I suspected, my brother believes that our mother is covering all the expenses of the house. He's under the impression that she inherited a huge fortune from our father and, by sweet-talking her, he suggested they live together. John, I don't know what you're misunderstanding, but everything in this house, I bought it. Didn't you know that I've been giving her $2,000 every month? No, that's a lie. You're just saying that because you don't want to let go of Mom, right? I'm going to inherit Dad's fortune eventually. What are you talking about? Mom has already spent all of Dad's inheritance. What? With trepidation, my brother looked towards our mother. She was pale and looking down. What do you mean, Mom? Didn't you say you bought all the home appliances yourself? That was. I just wanted to show my good side to you kids. What? Are you kidding me? We thought you had Dad's inheritance, that's why we decided to live with you. If there's no inheritance, there's no point in living together. What? How can you say that? Isn't it the eldest son's duty to take care of his mother? That's what you said. That was just flattery, obviously. It was a lie just to get us to live together. My brother was enraged by the truth that there was no inheritance, and the mother was devastated by the realization that her son and daughter-in-law's kindness was a lie. They were indeed a hopeless family. It should have been obvious there was some ulterior motive when my brother and his wife, who had been out of touch, suddenly suggested living together. If my brother had not kept our mother at a distance, he might have realized that our father's inheritance was long gone. Watching the two with a cold gaze, my sister-in-law suddenly exclaimed as if she had an idea. That's right. Mary can just live with us again. Both my mother and brother agreed. That's it. Mary, you should live with us after all. Yes, Mary. After all, you're all I have. My mother and brother suddenly changed their tune, saying whatever was convenient. To such hopeless people, I said coldly. Huh? Don't make me laugh. Why would I live with trash like you? I've decided to live for myself from now on. I couldn't care less about you. Just fall apart together, why don't you? The three of them slumped down, completely disheartened. They all got their eyes looking into the distance. Well then, good luck with your family unity. With those final words, I left the house. The contract for this apartment is in my name, so they'll be forced out in 2 weeks when it expires. Well, it doesn't matter to me anymore. A week after I finished moving out, sure enough, I received an SOS from my mother. Mary, please come back. We can't live like this. I don't know. Why don't you get that stupid couple to support you? The thing is, they thought I had your father's inheritance, quit their jobs, and moved here. Wow, really hopeless people. I don't feel like helping. I don't need a couple that's only after money. After all, I only have you, Mary. Mom, I'm busy, okay? Mary. Please help me. I hung up mid-conversation and immediately blocked her number. Now, I don't have the slightest desire to help my mother. According to rumors, after being evicted from the apartment, my mother and my brother's family used up all their savings to rent a rundown apartment. Of course, my mother does not work, and it seems she fights daily with my sister-in-law. My brother works from morning till night just to get by. On the other hand, thanks to my mother being out of the picture, the money I can use for myself has increased, and I am now able to save more than enough. Having held back until now, I intend to lead a happy life from here on out.